Hey, let's talk a little bit about some repercussions that are coming down now with the SEC and taxation in the United States that are coming unexpectedly, especially to these younger generation in the crypto and NFT markets. Also, some truth, some data out on just what kind of a carbon footprint do GPU and ASIC mining really leave? The truth with DeFi IoT. Let's talk about it. Before we begin, I need to make a disclaimer. Here at DeFi IoT Latin America, we are not professional financial advisors, or are we paid by any company to promote certain products. We here at DeFi IoT Latin America, we invest our own money. We take our own risks. We learn, we make mistakes, and we share what we learn, our successes and our mistakes with you. So this video is for educational purposes only. If you like what we're doing, please subscribe, hit the bell, give us a thumbs up, and write to us what more you'd like to learn. Let's go in now and see what else we can share with you. There's 4 things I want to talk about today. So I'm just going to kind of go through them. And, you know, you're going to have to really do some of your own homework on this as well. Some things are going to just be clear cut here, but what I'm going to tell you first, you're going to need to look into, because Joe Biden is expected to come out with an executive order that is going to really come down on crypto in the aspect of a type of a taxation, a classification. We need to have clarity in the United States and in these other countries. We get clarity in the United States, then Europe and other countries will begin to follow. You have some countries down in Latin America, for example, in Paraguay, they have clear-cut legislation already. Chile is passing theirs right as we speak. You also have that in El Salvador. What we have going on right now in the U.S., we'll go by here to Coin Bureau. And guy with Coin Bureau is somebody who I really have grown to respect, and one of our sources that I listen to almost on a daily basis, try to keep up to date on things that are going on also in the politics as well as the economics and how that affects crypto. He has kind of the same interest that I have, and I kind of check myself with what he's saying, and therefore I can kind of put my, make sure that I'm telling you guys the right information, even though I'm sure I am. I want to make double sure. Look, let's go in here real quick. The CEO of financial software giant Intuit Inc. warns U.S. investors in speculative assets like BTC and NFTs should watch out for this year's tax bill. Now, BTC also, that includes Ethereum, etc. Right? Just a few weeks ago, the IRS warned that it would be clamping down on NFT traders that had not paid the tax that they owe. Now, we'll talk about this in a second. This came amid serious confusion from investors regarding what they were due to pay. According to Intuit CEO Sachin Goudarsi, we're going to see a lot of that throughout this tax season, where folks just didn't understand what they did in crypto trading, that is, right? There's a lot of millennials. Now, keep an eye out, millennials, please, that really did a lot of trading without knowing what the implications are. Okay, so this platform, if you want to get help, this platform actually is available. They have over 50 million people that signed up for it so far. It's going to be very confusing. What's going to happen in the States, like what's happening, we're seeing some of these countries, they're basically going to charge us capital gains tax. But a capital gains tax, just to give you an idea, you're in trading, you're a day trader, and you want to, let's say I want to move out of my Bitcoin, I want to buy Ethereum. Well, what my initial investment was, if I made money on my Bitcoin, or if my Bitcoin went up and I had an unrealized gain, and then I realized that gain, well, there's certain points you're going to have to be taxed on unrealized gains. We're going to get into that today. Let's talk about realized gains. So I move on to Bitcoin and I go to Ethereum. So I just want to sit in Ethereum for a while, and Ethereum goes up, and I move back out of Ethereum and I go back into Bitcoin because Bitcoin went down. Okay. But the gain I had on my Bitcoin and the gain I got on my Ethereum all has to be recorded. A lot of times what happens, we make those moves throughout a day or a week, during the month, and all that needs to be recorded, and that is all considered capital gains. Even though the capital you started with will be the same capital that I went to Bitcoin with, went out to Ethereum, out of Ethereum, back into Bitcoin. I could have moved to another coin. It's the same capital, and I had gains. And then at the end of the week, for example, I lose half of it or I lose all of it. I'm still subject to pay taxes on those gains that I made when I bought and I sold. Now I have losses too, right? I can reduce those losses. So I can reduce that loss against those gains. But you're going to have to keep a good accounting. Okay? And that's the warning I'm trying to get across right now, is that's what's coming down. They're going to try and make it very difficult for people to really legally, under the IRS rules, taxation rules, not just in the US, other countries, to legally actually be earning that income. Then if it's not legally earned, if it's tax evasion, then the money is not legitimately yours, and that allows the government then to take it from you. So keep this in mind where they're going, right? Here's the other thing I want to talk about. Let's jump on another subject. All this crypto FUD, I want to talk about the same thing, Coin Bureau. There's been a lot of crypto FUD, a lot of garbage and BS talked about crypto in the news these days. And he says, I don't pay much attention to it, about US politicians in crypto mining, right? The energy use of proof of work, that is where you have GPUs, like the graphic cards, or you have your ASIC miners, like for Bitcoin, Ethereum right now, and others, right? You have Cardano, a lot of them that are GPU type mining that generate more electricity. Saying here that the hot topic, and when this first came out when BTC was mined, when Bitcoin was mined in 2009, the recent energy shortages around the world have been brought to the issue to the forefront. We've already seen few countries actually shut down crypto mining altogether, because that's Kazakhstan being one. So where that goes from here. China, sort of. China says they shut it down, but yet you have still, I was reading yesterday, like 8% of Bitcoin mining is still taking place in China. Remember, if you're a member of the CCP, you are favored. So don't buy into this, that they're making it illegal because of some sort of environmental issue. They're making it legal only that benefits those in charge. I actually mentioned, and I'm not being cynical here, this is the truth. I actually mentioned this hearing in one of my crypto weeklies. Like I said, there's a hearing going on here, okay? This hearing is talking about basically whether crypto mining is actually something that's good or not good, what it does to the environment. So they bring in these witnesses before these politicians in the United States. And actually the politicians there were kind of pro-crypto. And the witnesses that came in, most of them pro-crypto, except for one. I won't mention his name because he's really acting like a real jerk and really trying to really focus on proof of stake is much better than actual proof of coverage mining. But lie. That's just straight up not true. Proof of coverage mining is much more secure than staking. Staking can be actually manipulated. It's not decentralized. You try to make it seem like it was. So that's a concern there. What I want to go here to is I want to get into the actual numbers. I might have passed it up here. Of the emissions reports right here. Look at this. The report claims that Bitcoin mining accounts for less than 0.1%. 0.1% of the world's carbon emissions, and that the emissions cost of Bitcoin are dwarfed by its benefits. CoinShares estimate that BTC mining accounts for 41 megatons of CO2 emissions annually, less than, watch this, 0.08% of global emissions. Okay, see how low that number is? Everyone believes that Bitcoin is in large net benefit to society. Bitcoin is a large net benefit to society. How many average people can actually get into cryptocurrencies and learn and make money? What's more, CoinShares suggests that environmental damage from mining will decrease due to Bitcoin miners' mobility compared to other industries. They are able to move to locations with cheap renewable energy sources. And that's true. They can pick up and move all their machines and go set up the electrical again and start over. So Bitcoin mining or Ethereum mining farms are much more flexible and can be moved to where there is a cheaper amount of energy. Now let's just put this straight. We have in our group 91 GPUs, graphics cards, that are mining Ethereum in between other coins. Now, we currently right now didn't have renewable energy, but the energy cost has been killing us. If we're generating, I'll just tell you right now, if we're generating, well, I won't get the numbers because who knows what IRS is going to do here. We're paying a third of our earnings in electricity. So obviously, I don't want to use regular electricity. So we just spent $130,000. We had to hook it up and rent it while we got the money together and bought our solar panels. So now we got solar panels to equip for over half of that. Now we're going to buy more solar panels. So by the end of this year, we should be complete 100% renewable energy, not using any of the grid whatsoever. What's the incentive there? The incentive is I would rather have that money. If I can pay and get a loan and pay $400 to $500 a month on renewable energy that's going to actually pay for, let's say I'm paying $1,000 a month for the complete 91 GPUs we're running. That's my incentive to get off of energy. And most people I know are moving off of energy, unless you got your onesie twosies, but that's not consuming much electricity anyway. Somebody's GPU in their home, they're playing video games during the day and mining. They're not consuming much more energy. It's the same consumption with the video games. Plus, what I don't hear people squawking about is Amazon, Google, these massive computer bases, these factories, these huge buildings with computers in them that leave these huge carbon footprints, and they run GPUs. They're all running this stuff to build up the metaverse. So nobody talks about them. Why? Because they benefit the government. Those who are actually being independent don't benefit the government. So therefore, they get poo-pooed on. And that's how things are. Look what's happening right now in Canada, for example. They're actually GoFundMe sends back the money. This other agency that's hacked, and now banks are stopping the funding from coming in. You can't pull the money out. The one beautiful thing about the cryptocurrency that's being funded to these people, these truckers, these passive truckers. Now, you can be on whatever side you want to be on, but you're going to have to be really honest here. The BLM movement was very violent and destructive. And nobody did anything, not Trudeau, not even the government in the US. In fact, if Trump tried to do something, he was accused of being a tyrant. And yet now you have people peaceably just wanting the right of choice. And you've got the government calling them terrorists, and they're raiding their bank accounts, they're finding them, and they even may lose their truck, which is their only means of work and income. They put everything on the line right now to defend their constitution. I have to respect that. They did it constitutionally correctly, and they're defending their constitution. Now, where does crypto come in? Crypto's the same thing. So those of you who support crypto should be supporting them as well, because they're asking for agency and free market freedom. And that's what crypto's all about. If you're just in crypto to make money and get rich quick, and you don't see this, then you might as well just exit the stage now, because we really don't want you on board, to be very blunt, because you're going to favor regulation and government stepping in. I'm very forward, and I'm not afraid to hide anything. Not mean to offend anybody. I'm just being straight and real, as you would say. So what's happening? Their funding's coming in crypto. Okay, well, they're saying, well, we're going to block all the bank accounts when that crypto is coming in at. All right, well, here's the beautiful thing about it. On a decentralized platform, they can just take that and move that to somebody else's bank account. They just keep hopping that around until they pull the money out. That's beautiful. That's crypto. That's what it was designed for. So no government or tyranny can actually come and take our property from us. That's crypto, and it's working right now. So let this be an eye-opener to what else is coming. If you don't agree with me now, please just don't block it out. Put it in the back of your mind that we talked about this, that I mentioned this, because you'll see it later when it affects you. Now, taxation. What can you do about taxation? Well, there's strategies. We're working on strategies right now. We've got contacts in offshore trusts, and actually in domiciles that will actually favor our taxation. We're not going to avoid taxes. We're going to pay tax, but we're going to pay a just tax that's not going to scam us out of our crypto earnings. So we have nothing at the end of the day. As Venezuela set up, another country set up, you actually come out with a negative in the end. And it looks like Russia might be going the same way. In fact, my Russian friends 10 years ago or 12 years ago had told me that the tax in Russia, when you get down in the day, is 120%. So in other words, all money you get in Russia was considered dirty money. So therefore, the government could come down on you anytime they wanted to for tax evasion if you didn't obey the government. Looks like we're following suit. Don't think that it died. It was Putin then, and it's Putin now. Now, let's go here. I want to jump in and show you a couple of things before we jump off here. Just hang with me, please. Look, what's the biggest bubble in the world? So we're talking about the crypto bubble. It's all going to bust. It's all going to come slamming down. These same politicians, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, these people in the White House are slamming crypto, and other politicians as well. And yet, look what they're always talking about. Watch this. What's the biggest bubble in the world? Do you know the answer to that? Well, let us show you. Again, I got this off of Coin Bureau. Many may point to stocks, even crypto, and other risky assets, quote unquote. But these, of course, pale in comparison to the global debt burden. Global debt is at its highest point ever right now. That is dangerous. If we do have a downfall in our economy, we're going to have a collapse in banking systems. Another reason for crypto. Even before we were hit by this whole shutdown, can't say the word, it took a pretty unsustainable level. It stood at pretty unstable levels, this debt. And today, we sit with a situation in which global debt stands at a staggering $226 trillion. That is the number that the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, has recently come out to highlight as one of the biggest risks to global economists right now. The reason that it's even more pressing now than it was a year ago is because the central bank policy, we all know that the rates are going to go up. Inflation is out of control. U.S. has come back in the high sevens, but it's really closer to 15% when you look at the monkey business they did to try to offset how they come up with that percentage. They changed it. Instead of taking steak, they put hamburger in. And said, well, it classifies the same. Well, hamburger's cheaper than steak. Steak went up a lot more. They're switching things around so they can lie to the people. Inflation's higher than what you think it is. Be prepared for this. We all know the rates are going to go up, and this means that debt servicing costs are likely to go up as well. So therefore, they'll change all these ARMs, all adjustable rate mortgages. While the Fed expects to raise rates 3 to 4 times, that's the Federal Reserve of the United States, this year alone, there are analysts who think that it could be even a 7 rate hike over the year, etc. So what you have, this big bubble, is not just a global debt, but the U.S. has hit a new all-time record of debt as well. And you know what the sad thing is? They defaulted. They literally and legally defaulted and paid their loan. They just created more money, raised the debt ceiling. How long can you get away with that? Because the United States of America and Bitcoin and crypto is a threat to that dollar. There's no threat to the dollar, they can get away with it. And that's why you're going to see a lot of heavy burdens come down. They won't get rid of it, though. They won't make it illegal. They're just going to try to suck as much of it from us to them as they can to pay off this debt. Now, look at this. The Freedom Convoy, watch this here. The truckers protesting in Canada over the mandates. And under the banner of freedom, this Freedom Convoy campaign have turned to cryptocurrency for popular platform after GoFundMe axed their campaign. GoFundMe axed the campaign after $9 million had already been raised. Then GoFundMe returns that back to the donors because they were told to by the governments, from my understanding. The Freedom Convoy campaign opted to use Tallycoin, a crowdfunding platform built on the Bitcoin network, which is highly decentralized. You see the importance for decentralized platforms, for DeFi, cryptocurrencies. Now, whether you agree or disagree with this cause, you can see here, he goes on to make the case why cryptocurrency exists, so that it protects our private property. They're not doing anything wrong, even though they're trying to label them as terrorists. They're not terrorizing anything or anybody. It's them and their families just want to have, and 90% of them already have the jab. So what's this really about? And this is why we need to defend cryptocurrency. Please, if you don't understand what I'm saying today, do your homework. look into this for yourself. DeFi IoT Latin America. Por favor, subscribe. And give us a thumbs up. Hit the bell. I'm saying por favor because that's Spanish. I'm going to do my next video in Spanish now. Sorry for that. So you got a little Spanish lesson today too. Por favor, please. We'll see you tomorrow.